What's going on, guys? The Grizzly Bear here. Today is June 26, 2015, and today the United States Supreme Court, or the Supreme Court of the United States, made a pretty big gave a pretty big ruling on the issue of gay marriage. And basically, what it states is that no state can impose a ban on gay marriage or place a ban on gay marriage. Previous to today, June 26th, the state could pretty much do whatever it wanted. It could opt to have legal gay marriage. It could opt to not have it but recognize it if a couple got married elsewhere, or just not recognize and not marry couples altogether. So I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. It's a position in which it's an issue in which I've changed my position on over the years. A few years back and up to that point, I was very bigoted against gays myself. I was raised just, that it was wrong, it was unnatural, it's perverse, it was disgusting, and I formed a whole psyche around that, and a few years ago I constantly got into debates, whether in person or on Facebook. I talked about it with some people I was closer with, and I always tried to make these logical because I'm a man of logic. I like to at least think that make as many logical choices as possible. That's how my mind works. And I would try to make logical arguments against gay marriage or just homosexuality in general. I felt like if I could attack the root of gay marriage, then, which was homosexuality in and of itself, I could, defeat the whole idea of gay marriage. So what wound up happening was I don't feel like I fared horribly in those debates, but there was one person in particular who was able to convince me that I was wrong. And she didn't mean to, she wasn't telling me that I was wrong, but she appealed to my sense of logic. And not everyone is as logical as me. So some people are always going to think with their emotions. Some people are too old to change their opinion on something. So just today, I've seen some of the attitudes that people have about it. A lot of people really are not happy about it, and that's too bad for them, because no one's making them get married to someone of the same sex. So yeah, I'm just happy that we've joined the list of countries that have made the change. We can join the first world again in an issue. But if you want to go back to some of the arguments that I would hear or that I would try to use when I was on the opposite side of the spectrum than from what I am now. For the first argument that you'll hear, and perhaps the easiest to strike down, at least in this country, is that it's against God's will. They have a religious sort of argument, which in this we have a secular government, so the majority of people in this country may be Christian, but we don't have a theocracy. It's this country's not based on Christian values, despite what people may tell you. It's the founding fathers set the country up a certain way for a reason, and one of the main ideas that we have in our government is separation of church and state. So we're not gonna let the religious right dictate any kind of, well, we have before, we still do, but we ought not to let the religious right dictate our legislation. So that's the first argument. The second argument, this is one that I used, is that it's not natural. Homosexuality is not natural, but I guess natural is a it's a vague word. It's a word that we have to define. So I would define natural, and maybe someone else will have another definition, but and this is without looking in the dictionary or anything, but just off the top of my head, natural is something that occurs in nature. And if you look in the animal kingdom, there are, I believe, over 1,500 different species of animals that actually exhibit homosexual behavior or bisexual behavior. This is, in and of itself, a crushing blow to that argument. But some people may say what animals do is not something that we should do, even though they already made the argument about something being natural. And yeah, that may or may not be true, but I think that what we have to understand is that we ought not to be biased against someone for something that's not really harming anyone else. There's a lot of things that we do that are not natural to begin with. Like anytime you have sex with someone, the natural way to have sex is to have unprotected sex. But we have contraceptives like condoms. We have contraceptives like other forms of birth control, like the shots, the pills. We have the Plan B. That's not natural. There are tons of things that we do on a regular basis that's just not natural. We eat artificial foods. We wear artificial clothes. So I don't think that, unless you're a person that stays away from all that stuff, you really can't talk about what's natural. What's another one? What's the other argument? There's another argument that I hear, and it's that marriage is supposed to be for procreation, but I don't hear and again, I hear most of the opposition coming from the religious right. I don't hear as much opposition to children born out of wedlock. So where's if that's what marriage is for, where's that need for marriage then? There are plenty of couples who have a child out of wedlock and are fine afterwards, or they may get married later, which it's not really a big deal. You also have what about other people who like old people? Should if say an elderly woman, I don't know, 60 something years old, meets someone and she wants to get married, and he's old too, or maybe he's not, maybe he's like 40 or something, but she's past the child, the age where she can get pregnant and have a baby. Should she not be allowed to be married? Just because according to you, marriage is something that should be for people who are trying to have a family. So those are pretty much the main arguments that I hear. I'm sure there are others out there, but there really is no logical basis to discriminate against gay people. They're not doing anything inherently bad or wrong, despite what you may be told or what you may believe. There's nothing, some people will say the gay agenda, blah, 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 blah. It's being forced on you, but literally no one is forcing you to get married to the same sex, the same gender. No one is. Yeah, that's just crazy. A lot of these people are already married. So what's the point? What's the problem? I could see, maybe a lot of people don't want to see two men kissing or two women kissing, or gay stuff on TV or whatever. But it's gay people are gonna kiss anyway. Them being married or not is not gonna really change that. And as far as the gay stuff on TV, I mean, they've been subjected to heterosexual TV since TV existed. So, I mean, and even within heterosexual TV, there's been different stages of it. When TV first came out and they portrayed couples, they didn't even sleep in the same beds. And then as time went on, it became more and more loose, with more natural, I'll say, because we had that super uptight super uptight society 50, 60 years ago, at least as it was on TV. So those are just my thoughts on gay marriage. I think that this is definitely going in the right direction. I think the people who are opposing it now will be looked at similarly to the people who opposed integration of schools or opposed the emancipation of the slaves. Just they're going to definitely be on the wrong side of history. And I mean, I don't think that everyone who's opposing it are bad people. I just think that they are just wrong on this one. So, it's the Grizzly Bear signing out. See you guys next time.